Welcome to Hatsput Economics, Hatsput, and it's the girl Connie. And if you haven't done so already, just hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell for notifications. So I want to talk about this. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and I heard about this, and I just wanted to make sure I got all the facts straight before I come to you. So I heard about Lavar Ball. And in my last video with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, where I talked about, Prince Harry's the prince, but are you really a king? I actually mentioned Lavar as one of the black men that I do consider a king. Very strong leadership. He's raising his three sons. He's putting them down to different platforms, different levels. So I actually appreciate him. And I said this way before all of this other stuff came out. But what's really weird, this is just my opinion. Now I'm speaking on an opinion. I don't feel like LeVar Ball has the support of the black men in the black community. I could be wrong. I looked at the comments and it's very mixed. And what I'm shocked about, you have a huge basketball figure like Charles Barkley, who is like so adamant about speaking out against this guy, like just really nasty. And in my opinion, again, like I said, I'm always going to be clear when it's my opinion because I can't fact base this part. But in my opinion, he hasn't received the backlash that I think he should receive for the things he said about a fellow African American male. What's so funny to me is that it seems Serena marrying a white guy got more rise out of a black man. And you have to understand, this is not me just making this up. Weeks before this happened, if you check my Meghan Markle video with Prince Harry, you'll see that I mentioned him along with Steph Curry, LeBron James, Barack Obama, that these are black men who show leadership skills, and these are black men who are worthy of being called a king, that they're doing what they got to do, and the rest should follow suit. But what's so strange is that I don't even think black men understand what LeVar Ball is doing. Not all, but most don't understand. Because if they did, it would be like the second coming, the revolution. This guy is trying to change economics on such a massive platform that I don't really think people get it. So we're going to go through this video together. And I'm going to try and make it fast. And let me go. Oh, it's loud. Try to fast forward there for you. The intro's so annoying. Okay.
Thursday, December 14th, goes to NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley. Now, Charles Barkley called in the ESPN Radio's Gallic and Wingo show yesterday, and he was asked about LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball signing one-year contracts to play basketball in Lithuania. Let's hear what Charles Barkley had to say.
He represents everything that's bad about sports. It's all about him. I just feel bad for those kids because, everybody talk about he might be a good father, this and that. No, he's not. He's just exploiting his kids. He's all about big baller brand. He has no foreseeable talent. He's trying to make money on his kids. And I just feel sadness for those kids because they're going to do whatever he tells them to do. And I just don't like the guy at all.
So I'm just going to pause it right there. So for you guys that are just catching up to this is Charles Barkley destroying LeVar Ball, saying he's exploiting his kids. And this is what I don't like. I told you guys this is going to be a fair and neutral fact-based channel. He's totally aware of the social stigma, how most African American men are portrayed. You have a father who's getting 3 kids into the NBA, into professional basketball. He's in their lives. For him to stand up there and say he's exploiting his kids is preposterous. Like, I don't understand what that means. Would he prefer if it was a coach? Would he prefer, and to me, this is horrific. But what's even more weird is the silence, in my opinion, the silence from the black men and the black community. Because if a black woman was to go out there and speak like this and say someone's a horrible father, he's exploiting his kids, I'm just going to make you listen to the rest of it, but it gets really bad.
Plain and simple. And don't tell me he's a good father just because you exploit your kids trying to make money because you have no talent. That does not make...
Look at this shot that he's taking. You're exploiting your kids because you have no talent.
You're a good father.
I can't tell you how much this disgusts me. All right, Charles Barkley, you should be ashamed of yourself. First of all, I have no idea why some of you Negroes are so invested in Lavar Ball and his family losing. I don't get it. I don't understand it. It makes absolutely no sense to me. That man is betting on himself, betting on his family, trying to establish his own brand so he can be Nike, so he can be Adidas, so he can be Reebok.
See, the problem with that is the economics behind it. It's the lack of information. It's the lack of entrepreneurship from the black males in the society. The reason why, and I'm not trying to be rude, but it's the truth. The reason why people aren't, black men aren't thrown away by it is because they don't really understand what he's doing. He wants to get rid of Nike. He wants to get rid of Jordan. He wants to get rid of the middleman. He wants to be the brand, period. He doesn't want to have to work with a second party. He truly wants to be a boss. He truly wants to be a king. But I'm just kind of dismayed how other issues that to me aren't going to impact you. This can change the black community. Imagine the amount of money that's going to come back right into the black community if this guy is successful in doing what he wants. But I don't know. I just see Charles Barkley attacking this guy. And yeah, you had the commentary and the rebuttal, but the things that Charles Barkley said were so damaging. I can't imagine if anyone else said that. And he gets it appears Charles Barkley gets a pass because he's black.
Instead of just working for them. And some of y'all Negroes really have a problem with that. How can you say this man is exploiting his own kids? How can you say this man is trying to make money off his own kids? Let me ask you a question, Charles. What is Lavar doing that a white agent wouldn't be doing? Or
That's
a white
right.
manager, or the white executives at these sneaker companies? Would you be more comfortable with them being exploited by white corporate executives? Would you be more comfortable if white corporate executives was making money off them? I'm really confused by this. He said Lavar is trying to make money off his kids because he has no talent. What talent do these white corporate executives have? Huh? The NBA, these sneaker companies, these sports agencies are all full of talentless executives making money off people way more talented than them. Why is it business?
So I'm just going to pause it there. It's painful because this is what HASESPA is about. Economic empower, financial freedom. And that's why I admire LeVar Ball, because he's actually trying to do that. He's actually trying to not have to answer to someone, to truly be independent, to truly be a leader, and to be fully in charge. I don't understand the controversy. He has a big mouth. He's entertaining. He's trying to get attention. He's getting free publicity when he opens his mouth and say outrageous things. Shaquille O'Neal did it. Charles Barkley himself did it. Just that brash, off the collar, I say whatever I want. This is show business. That's not unusual. What to me is unusual is if you see a black man trying to venture out, make his own shoe, make his own company, cut out the middleman, that's something serious. That's why Jay-Z, another king, actually went ahead and bought 3 pairs of the shoes from LeVar Ball, the company, 3 pairs at $500 each, while other black athletes were clowning LeVar Ball, saying, your shoe ain't worth no 500. Are you kidding? Have you looked at the pair of Louboutins? Have you looked at the pair of red bottoms? Black men need to get it together. This is somebody to rally behind and support.
This is usual when the white executives do it, but exploitation when LeVar is doing it. Can somebody please ask Charles Barkley the difference for me? Because I really want to know. All right? Charles Barkley said LeVar Ball is all about the big baller brand. So what? So what? The man explained to you why he wants to start his own brand and why they didn't just run out and sign an endorsement deal with a sneaker company like everybody else does. It's simple math. He talked about it here on the Breakfast Club yesterday. Let's hear it. Coming from the hood, how hard is it to turn down the money that I'm sure is offered to you by sneaker companies? Because
it's not hard to turn down if you got a bigger vision.
Yeah. So I want to pause it right there. For anyone that wants to rebuttal and say he's about money, he's about greed, how many people from the hood would turn down $10, $15 million up front from Nike or from Jordan? I just want to know that, because I wouldn't. I'm just keeping it real, like a piece of blue steel. Like, I would not. I'm telling you right now, if those were my boys, I would have took the check and went to the bank. But this guy's not thinking about short term. He's thinking about long term. He's thinking about generational wealth and legacy. All the topics we talk about on HASESPA. So listen to what he has to say.
See, these guys will tell you, okay, we're gonna give you 10 million. They don't tell you they made 500 million off you. So now when they give you
50% raise and give you $50 million, you'd be like, oh shoot, they done paid me. That's why they all get stuck at that endorsement deal at $200 million. Oh, we'll give you $20 million to start. 5 years go by, you do something. Now they say, you know what, we're gonna give you $200 million. Not telling you we made that in the first year. Right. I feel like this model is something that would change the relationship between NBA players and sneaker companies forever. Because I feel like it's
exactly. So just to break it down for my females and don't listen to sports, when you get an endorsement deal, they normally give you up front before a sneaker is sold $10 million, $20 million, $30 million. But what they don't tell you is the gazillions of $1 million they make. So you might think it's a deal because you're from the hood or just want that money up front. I'm not going to front, I would have took it. But he's like, oh hell no, because you're going to give me a check for 10, 12 million. But then at the end of the year, you might make 600, 700 million, 400 million. And guess what? You're not entitled to a penny of that. So, he's trying to get all those funds for his sons. He's looking to build an empire for his children. This is what other people do. This is what kings do. And I don't understand the lack of support from the black community, specifically from black males who are just, complaining about all the hardships. This is somebody to support because he's trying to. Do you understand? Do you understand the economic footprint he could make if he cuts out the middleman? You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars flooded into the black community. Imagine if other athletes didn't have to do that. Imagine if Jordan didn't have to do that, or Larry Bird didn't. Whoever it is, Larry Johnson. Just imagine whoever it is not having to just settle with $10, $12 million, but actually get the full brunt of the profits of any sneaker sale. That's phenomenal.
It could have been done. Oh, it's going to be changed. Yeah, that's all we want to do is sit that ripple effect, man. We out there. We just want to make you at least think about it instead of just running in this same lane that everybody been in for the longest. What's the problem? So you mad at that man because he's playing a legacy game? Because he's trying to set his family up to be wealthy for a long time by attempting to be the next big sneaker company instead of being the next big Negro signed to a sneaker company?
That's right.
How can you say he's trying to make money off his kids when I'm sure he's already turned down endorsement money from sneaker companies? If it was all about the money, he would have gotten an endorsement deal already, but he's playing the long game. Legacy. Why is that a problem?
And let me pause it. I'll tell you why that's a problem. That's a problem because it's foreign to us. It's a problem because it's not taught to us. It's a problem because it's kept from us. When's the last time you heard a black person talk about legacy? And the thing is that to have a legacy, you can't do it at the end. You got to do it at the beginning. What did we talk about on this channel in some of my videos? That if you want financial success, generational wealth, and legacy, you can't do it from the end. You got to do it from the beginning. And that means before you get into a business, remember what I said? Before you engage in the business, the first thing you think is, what did I say? Can you pass it down? Can you turn it into generational wealth? Can I build a legacy? And LeVar Ball knows that he can't pass down no shares in Nike. He can't pass down no endorsement deal. He can't pass down no company because you don't own it. So he's thinking about the future. And this is what we talk about on this channel. This is why this is relevant, because he's doing exactly what I said he should be doing, and that makes him a king. But what happens to all the black men who are not supporting him, and all the black men who are not outraged at Charles Barkley? Charles Barkley went in.
Now, this is what I hate more than anything. Say what you want about this man's business decisions, but how are we going to keep saying this man not a good father? Listen to what Charles Barkley had to say about.
Listen to Charles, guys. Listen to Charles.
First of all, I wish there was a place further away from America they could send him. I would never leave my kids over there. If he's a legit father, he should stick.
He said if he's a legit father. That's crazy. To me, that's more important of a social impact than Serena getting married to anyone. This is he said if he's a legit father. If you ladies probably don't really like, who's Charles Barkley? He don't play no more. He has a show. He's on NBA TNT. He talks. He got a big mouth, and his audience is America, white, black, Spanish, and he's sitting there debasing this black man, saying if he's a legitimate father. It gets worse.
Stay over there with those kids the entire time. That would prove something to me. People want to say he's a great father. Well, stay over there with those kids. I will never send my 2 teenage kids to Lithuania kids if I was
Charles, they're at basketball camp with other future prospective basketball stars. This is not people send their kids from Japan, China, all the way to USA for college and school. They're of age, Charles. They're not 9, 10 years old. They're not being sent to Guantanamo Bay. Relax.
was a good father.
What evidence do we have to say that Lavar Ball is a bad father? He's a bad father because his son is listening to him. His kid's not on drugs. They're not selling drugs. They're not out robbing people. They're not in and out of jail. As long as we've been hearing about this family, the worst thing we've heard about these kids is Jello stealing a pair of shades out of a store with his teammates at UCLA. We haven't seen these kids be disrespectful to people. I mean, other than Lonzo disrespecting Nas a little, but you know what I mean. All right, all these young boys are getting paid to do what they love to do, which is basketball. Lavar has instilled discipline and work ethic in those boys to get them to this point, and we say he's a bad father. We are begging these young boys to not listen to their dad. As much slack as black fathers get for not being in their kids' lives, now we have a black father who is micromanaging his son's lives, and people have a problem with that. Charles, Lavar don't have to prove nothing to you. That man has been raising these kids, feeding these kids, guiding these kids since birth, got them to this point, and now all of a sudden he has to stay in Lithuania to prove to you that he's a good father. Well, who are you? These niggas, man. Now, here's the thing that really disappoints me about what Charles Barkley said. Listen to this.
And I just don't like the guy at all. Plain and simple.
Play that again, man.
And I just don't like the guy at all. Plain and simple.
You just don't like the guy at all, plain and simple. He said he just don't like that guy. Well, Charles Barkley, house Negroes usually don't like field Negroes, so that's understandable. But I have never heard you say you don't like someone who is actually a threat to the black community. I've heard you make excuses for police officers who are killing unarmed African Americans. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw him campaigning for Doug Jones this week. I didn't even hear him say he straight up don't like Roy Moore. I've never heard you say you straight up don't like Donald Trump. If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. But why are you so quick to denounce another black man and say you don't like him simply because he's challenging the system?
And I'm going to pause it right there. And this is where I'm going to challenge anyone where I say racism is never going to go away. Sexism, discrimination, we're always going to have challenges. What we need to focus on is what we can do, what we can control, how we can change. I'm not saying not to point out social injustice and point out discrimination. I did not say that. But if we don't put our energy into what we can do, what we can change, you got LeVar Ball making a powerful statement that he's going to do this and he's going to do that. These are monumental. It's going to be a massive pouring of wealth into the black community if you can do this. But yet you have Charles Barkley. And you know what? There's tons of Charles Barkley, tons of rich, privileged, educated black men who are in there and turn their back. The only thing black about them is their skin. The only thing black about them is that the fact that they have black DNA. And we need to come to terms with the fact that the NFL, the NBA is majority black. And these men hold a tremendous amount of wealth and potentially a tremendous amount of social power, and they do absolutely nothing with it. That's just the truth. And if you guys want to rise like LeVar Ball, because I gave him the King Award for 2017, and I admired him way before this drama, so you know it's real. I admired him from the Mega Meckle and Harry video that I have, so you guys can go and watch that too, and it's the truth. But this is disgusting. This is Charles Barkley, who is a huge African American figure with a big mouth, using this to speak out.
Please give Charles Barkley the biggest hee-haw.
So they gave Charles Barkley the hee-haw, right? And I just want to show you a few things. I'm not going to bore you to death with this. LeVar Ball, he actually wants to start a league for high school graduates. LeVar Ball plans to start a league for high school graduates. And you know why? He feels like the current high school and college is bilking them. He said also he wants the league for players who have graduated from high school but don't want to go to college. Okay? So what's crazy is that in tennis and in golf, every other sport, you can actually leave out of high school and go straight. Imagine if Serena and Venus weren't allowed to play until they were 18. Venus and Serena was killing people on the court at 14, 15. So it's just crazy. So Ball said his junior basketball association, which he said is fully funded by his big baller brand, plans to pay the lowest ranked player a salary of $3,000 a month and the best player $10,000 a month. Ball is looking for 80 players to fill 10 teams that will seek to play at NBA arenas in Los Angeles. Look what he's doing, and he's getting no attention. And when I say attention, this should be big. Bigger than Serena marrying somebody that's white. This should be big. This can change lives. Look at this too. Look at this too. LeVar Ball is talking how the NCAA makes billions off of college athletes and they get nothing. LeVar Ball wants to shake up the system. So college and basketball football players are being fleeced as they put their bodies on the line day in and day out after suffering catastrophic injuries and brain damage and concussions. The NCAA and various regional sports leagues squeeze every cent of these amateurs into student labor and make billions off of it. The players are penalized for selling autographs. So while you're in college or high school, you can't make any salary. You don't really make a salary, and they make billions off of it. So LeVar Ball is being a king, stepping up, saying, "Yo, that's ridiculous. Like, let's get some more footing in this game." And he gets absolutely no support. And this is what I try to tell people of color. There's enough people to do traction in this game. But for some reason, we don't stick together. For some reason, LeVar Ball, what is he saying that's so wrong? He's telling Nike, I don't want your 10 million. I'm going to make my own sneaker, go to the factory, go to China, manufacture it, and whatever money we make, we want to get that whole thing. But yet, I'm not trying to be mean, guys. You have Charles Barkley coming for him. And when they have police brutality, when they have, those Black Lives Matter things, this is how he feels about cops. Look how carefully he picks his words.
But we need the cops, especially in the black community. We need the cops. They do a fantastic job. Do they make mistakes? The thing that bothers me the most is everybody wants to be a Monday morning quarterback.
Right.
But none of us know what we react when guns, adrenaline, pressure, scary situations. So I think we have to be really careful judging the
So this is where I disagree. Of course we need police officers. But he said everybody doesn't know how you act when guns. I don't care what your stance is on that. But you can't expect me, Connie, a civilian, to be calm and collective and know how to properly react with a gun pulled to my face. So he's talking about the officers. Oh, nobody know how you would act with it. No, they actually do. They get trained. I have plenty of friends who are police officers. Plenty. I live in New York. Hello. Of course I know NYPD. And they say discreetly behind closed doors, you can't panic and, you're panicking, but you expect a civilian to remain calm and be able to identify you as not a threat, something you should be doing.
In all these situations.
But some mistakes go beyond just mistakes. Some of these cases, they've shown that the officers have acted in a way that they shouldn't have acted. We saw what happened in North Charleston. A guy is running away from a cop and he shoots a gun at him.
And we should prosecute those guys. But I think we have to always look at the evidence because I say we don't.
Look what he said. Look how careful he is. And we always got to look at the evidence. And we should prosecute those guys. It is crazy how he's ready to give judge, juror, and conviction to LeVar Ball. But he is tap dancing. He's talking about that. I don't know if y'all saw that one when the cop was shooting the guy and he was running away. And I don't know. I don't know if y'all saw that. But clearly that was not self-defense. That was the cop that shot him in his back. Whatever.
Everybody think how they would react under pressure, and it's not that simple.
And this is where I disagree with him. I don't care what you say, if you're pro-cop, anti-cop, or whatever it is. As a black woman, of course, I'm going to say we definitely need that in our community. Black women get attacked and killed and raped, so hell yeah. But I have been pulled over. I have been questioned as a black woman. I did not feel safe. And here he is again stressing how you would react. Officers are trained to react accordingly. They are trained. Does anybody have anybody in the military that's listening to this? There's rules of engagement. Military men can't go shooting off crazily to shooting and say later, I was scared. They can't go shooting civilians in Iraq and Iran and say, oh, I was scared. There's rules of engagement. This might sound horrible, but I would understand somebody in the military shooting someone in a war zone who's a civilian because of the situation, because of the stress. And you don't hear that too often. You don't hear that. But yet these officers who are trained don't, they have that pressure. So I told you, guys, I'm fair. What fair is fair. But I just find it so funny that you can literally look at Charles Barkley in this video and you can see he is carefully choosing his words. It's almost painful if you watch it. Watch it.
But when cops make mistakes, we should make them pay. But we should also understand the stress they're under, the stress that they're under, and because we need to work with them.
Why do you think that?
So this is what I'm talking about. How can we understand the stress that police are under? Is there a program? Do they go in for mental evaluations? Do they have psychological tests? Do they check in with a social worker? Do they check in with a therapist, psychologist? Charles Barkley, what are you talking about? I'm not saying you can't sit here and defend them, but that's probably the weakest argument, that we have to understand their stress. What about me? I'm a civilian. What if I'm 5 months pregnant? I just lost my job. I'm not trained to interact with people with a firearm. I'm not trained how to engage people, with a lethal force, which a gun is. Officers are. And if they get to that point where they feel stressed out, relieve yourself. Take a leave of absence. Take your badge off. Go on vacation. It's never under any circumstances. I know people in the military, and even they said there's strict rule of engagements when they could hit a contact, shoot a contact. They can't go gung-ho happy. But what I love is that, look at his face. Look at his face. He is so particular. It's like he's doing some type of ballet. It's like he's doing some type of like Broadway dance. But yet, where's the outrage from black men? He's a sports figure, probably one of the most popular African American men in sports, in basketball, definitely. He's a big figure. He got a big mouth. Where's their outrage? You mean if Serena marries a white guy, that's more outrage than Charles Barkley sitting here defending police officers under the weakest merit? Like, Charles, you could have picked anything else but stress level and picking anything else of how would you act under pressure. I don't know. I'm not a police officer. I have an anxiety disorder. What does that mean? So that means that I'm supposed to be more calm than an officer? I'm just saying I have an anxiety disorder to, give you some type of reference. What if you're going through postpartum depression? What if you're a hypochondriac? I don't know. What if you're autistic? These officers need to anticipate these situations accordingly. Black women are getting killed by police officers, pulled out of their cars, put into cells, not ever seen alive again. So the officers have to act accordingly. They have to be able to react to everybody the same, whether they're black or white, and that's clearly not happening. So, it's pretty sad that Charles Barkley obviously is more comfortable insulting other black men, I guess, than actually keeping it real and being honest with the situation. Or probably he's just one of those people. He's just not there. And I'm telling you, this is what I dealt with my whole life. There are black people in strategic areas, black women, black men, who can make a difference in how things happen and work for us. But they're like Charles Barkley. They got that money. They know who signed their check. And that's it. They're like, I'm out. But, hopefully, I hope Lavar Ball is successful. I admire him. I like what he's doing. He's thinking long term. He's talking about legacy, legacy, legacy. That's what Hash Sput is about. I mentioned Lavar Ball weeks ago in my Harry and Meghan Markle video. You can check that out if you haven't seen it already. Prince Harry's a prince, but are you really a king? Well, I address black men directly and I challenge their leadership. And I'm going to challenge Charles Barkley, but I don't think he deserves it. I think he's sold out. He's a sellout, and he knows who signs his check, and he's comfortable. Because when you're comfortable degrading a black man like that, saying he's not a father, and we all know that huge social stigma about black men and their children, and for him to make that personal dig, that's really low, and I was really disappointed. So, that's it. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this piece. Write in the comments. Tell me how you feel, and happy holidays. Merry Christmas.